If you're a beginner learning English, this video is perfect for you. Today you'll learn 100 kitchen objects just by seeing them. This is a spoon. We use a spoon to eat soft food like soup or cereal. It has a round part to hold food and a long handle to hold in your hand. For example, you use a spoon to eat cereal in the morning. It's one of the most common tools in every kitchen. This is a fork. We use a fork to pick up solid food like meat or vegetables. It has sharp points called tines that hold the food in place. For example, you use a fork to eat pasta or salad. Almost every meal needs a fork. This is a knife. We use a knife to cut food into smaller pieces. It has a sharp edge that cuts easily through fruits, vegetables, and meat. For example, you use a knife to cut an apple or slice bread. Be careful because knives are very sharp. This is a plate. We use a plate to hold our food while we eat. It's usually round and flat, so food doesn't fall off. For example, you put your dinner on a plate before. Eating, every table needs plates for every meal. This is a bowl. We use a bowl to hold food that has liquid, like soup or cereal with milk. It's deeper than a plate, so liquid stays inside. For example, you eat rice or soup from a bowl. Bowls are very useful for many types of food. This is a cup. We use a cup to drink hot drinks like tea or coffee. It usually has a small handle so you don't burn your fingers. For example, you drink your morning tea from a cup. A warm cup is perfect for cold morning. This is a glass. We use a glass to drink cold drinks like water or juice. It's usually made of clear material so you can see what's inside. For example, you drink a glass of water when you are thirsty. Everyone needs a glass every single day. This is a mug. We use a mug to drink coffee or hot chocolate. It's bigger than a cup and has a strong handle. For example, you drink your morning coffee from a mug. Many people have a favorite mug at home. This is a pot. We use a pot to cook food with liquid, like soup or pasta. It's deep and round with a lid to keep the heat inside. For example, you boil water in a pot to cook noodles. Every kitchen needs at least one good pot. This is a pan. We use a pan to cook food on the stove. It's flat and wide, perfect for cooking eggs or vegetables. For example, you fry an egg in a pan for breakfast. A good pan makes cooking much easier. We're halfway there. Remember, this lesson is made especially for English beginners. Keep watching. 50 more kitchen objects are coming. This is a frying pan. We use a frying pan to fry food in oil or butter. It has low sides so you can easily flip the food. For example, you fry chicken or pancakes in a frying pan. It's a kitchen essential for quick cooking. This is a kettle. We use a kettle to boil water quickly. It has a spout for pouring and it whistles when the water is ready. For example, you boil water in a kettle to make tea. It's much faster than boiling water in a pot. This is a refrigerator. We use a refrigerator to keep food cold and fresh. It's a big cabinet that keeps a low temperature inside. For example, you store milk and vegetables in the refrigerator. Every home needs one to keep food safe. This is a freezer. We use a freezer to keep food frozen for a long time. It's much colder than a refrigerator, so ice forms inside. For example, you store ice cream and frozen meat in the freezer. It helps food stay fresh for months. This is an oven. We use an oven to bake food with heat all around it. It's a large box that gets very hot inside. For example, you bake a cake or roast a chicken in the oven. Ovens are perfect for baking and roasting. This is a stove. We use a stove to cook food in pots and pans. It has burners on top that get hot. For example, you cook rice on the stove using a pot almost. Every kitchen has a stove for daily cooking. This is a microwave. We use a microwave to heat food very quickly. It uses special waves to warm food from the inside. For example, you heat leftover food in the microwave for lunch. It's fast and very convenient. This is a toaster. We use a toaster to Make bread crispy and warm. You put bread inside, and it pops up when it's ready. For example, you make toast in the morning for breakfast. Toast with butter is a popular breakfast food. This is a blender. We use a blender to mix and crush food or fruit. It has sharp blades that spin very fast. Inside a jar, for example, you make a smoothie with fruit in a blender. It's great for drinks and soups. This is a mixer. We use a mixer to mix ingredients together for baking. It has spinning parts that blend flour, sugar, and eggs. For example, you mix cake batter with a mixer. It saves a lot of time and effort. This is a cutting board. We use a cutting board to protect the table while cutting food. It's a flat surface made of wood or plastic. For example, you cut vegetables on a cutting board before cooking. It keeps your kitchen counter safe and clean. This is a rolling pin. We use a rolling pin to flatten dough for bread or pastry. It's a long round tool that you roll back and forth. For example, you use a rolling pin to make pizza dough flat. Bakers use it every day. This is a grater. We use a grater to cut food into small, thin pieces. It has small, sharp holes that shred cheese or vegetables. For example, you grate cheese for pasta with a grater. It's a simple but very useful tool. This is a peeler. We use a peeler to remove the skin from fruits and vegetables. It has a small, sharp blade that removes the outer layer easily. For example, you peel a potato before cooking it. A peeler makes this job fast and easy. This is a whisk. We use a whisk to mix ingredients and add air to them. It has thin wire loops that beat eggs or cream quickly. For example, you whisk eggs before making an omelet. It helps make food light and fluffy. This is a spatula. We use a spatula to flip and turn food while cooking. It has a flat, wide end that slides under food easily. For example, you flip a pancake with a spatula. It's perfect for pans and grills. This is a ladle. We use a ladle to serve soup or liquid food. It has a deep round bowl and a long handle. For example, you serve soup from a pot with a ladle. It helps you serve food without making a mess. This is a pair of tongs. We use tongs to pick up hot or slippery food safely. They open and close like a hand, holding food firmly. For example, you use tongs to turn meat on the grill. They keep your hands safe from heat. This is a colander. We use a colander to drain water from food like pasta. It has many small holes that let water pass through. For example, you drain pasta in a colander after boiling it. It's essential for cooking pasta and vegetables. This is a strainer. We use a strainer to separate liquid from small pieces of food. It has a fine mesh that catches tiny particles. For example, you strain tea leaves with a strainer. It keeps your drinks clean and smooth. This is a can opener. We use a can opener to open metal cans safely. It cuts around the lid so you can remove it easily. For example, you open a can of beans with a can opener. It's much safer than using a knife. This is a bottle opener. We use a bottle opener to remove metal caps from bottles. It fits under the cap and lifts it off with one motion. For example, you open a glass soda bottle with a bottle opener. It's a small but very handy tool. This is a corkscrew. We use a corkscrew to open bottles of wine. It has a metal spiral that screws into the cork and pulls it out. For example, you open a wine bottle with a corkscrew before dinner. It's found in almost every kitchen drawer. This is a measuring cup we use. A measuring cup to measure liquids or dry ingredients. Exactly. It has clear markings that show different amounts. For example, you measure flour or water with a measuring cup while baking. It helps recipes turn out perfect. These are measuring spoons. We use measuring spoons to measure small amounts of ingredients. They come in different sizes for different amounts. For example, you measure salt or sugar with measuring spoons in a recipe. They are very important for accurate baking. This is a kitchen timer. We use a kitchen timer to remember how long food needs to cook. You set the time, and it rings when time is up. For example, you set a timer for 10 minutes while baking cookies. It helps prevent burnt food. This is a kitchen scale. We use a kitchen scale to weigh ingredients before cooking. It shows the exact weight in grams or pounds. For example, you weigh flour with a kitchen scale for a recipe. It's very useful for precise baking. This is a napkin. We use a napkin to clean our hands and mouth while eating. It's a soft piece of cloth or paper placed near your plate. For example, you wipe your mouth with a napkin during dinner. Every table setting includes napkin. This is a tablecloth. We use a tablecloth to cover and protect the dining table. It's a large piece of fabric placed over the table. For example, you put a nice tablecloth for a special dinner. It makes the table look clean and elegant. This is a placemat. We use a placemat to protect the table under each plate. It's a small mat placed in front of each seat. For example, you put a placemat before setting the table for guests. It keeps the table clean and organized. This is a coaster. We use a coaster to protect the table from hot or wet cups. It's a small flat pad placed under a drink. For example, you put your coffee cup on a coaster. It prevents watermarks on the table. This is a tray. We use a tray to carry several items at once. It's a flat surface with slightly raised edges. For example, you carry drinks and snacks on a tray to the living room. It makes serving food much easier. This is a dish towel. We use a dish towel to dry dishes and clean surfaces. It's a soft absorbent cloth used in the kitchen. For example, you dry a wet plate with a dish towel. Every kitchen needs a few clean dish towels. This is an oven mitt. We use an oven mitt to protect our hands from hot pans. It's a thick padded glove that blocks heat. For example, you wear an oven mitt to take a hot tray out of the oven. It keeps your hands safe from burn. This is an apron. We use an apron to protect our clothes while cooking. It ties around your waist and covers the front of your body. For example, you wear an apron before cooking a big meal. It keeps food and oil off your clothes. This is a sponge. We use a sponge to wash dishes and clean surfaces. It's soft and absorbs water and soap easily. For example, you scrub a dirty plate with a sponge. Every kitchen sink has a sponge. Nearby, this is dish soap. We use dish soap to clean dishes and remove grease. It creates bubbles that lift dirt away from plates and pans. For example, you add dish soap to water before washing dishes. It's essential for a clean kitchen. This is a dishwasher. We use a dishwasher to wash dishes. Automatically, you place dirty dishes inside, and it cleans them with water and soap. For example, you load the dishwasher after a big family dinner. It saves a lot of time and effort. This is a sink. We use a sink to wash dishes, fruits, and vegetables. It's a large basin connected to water pipes. For example, you wash your hands or clean vegetables at the sink. Every kitchen has a sink for daily use. This is a faucet. We use a faucet to control the water flow in the sink. You turn it to get hot or cold water. For example, you turn on the faucet to fill a glass with water. It's an important part of every kitchen sink. This is a trash can. We use a trash can to throw away food waste and garbage. It usually has a lid to keep smells inside. For example, you throw vegetable peels into the trash can. Every kitchen needs a trash can nearby. This is a recycling bin. We use a recycling bin to collect materials like paper, plastic, and glass. It helps keep useful materials separate from regular trash. For example, you put empty bottles in the recycling bin. It's a simple way to help the environment. This is a pantry. We use a pantry to store food like rice, pasta, and canned goods. It's usually a small room or cabinet near the kitchen. For example, you keep dry food and snacks in the pantry. It helps keep your kitchen organized. This is a cupboard. We use a cupboard to store dishes, cups, and food. It's a cabinet with doors, usually above or below the counter. For example, you keep your plates and bowls inside a cupboard. Every kitchen has several cupboards for storage. This is a drawer. We use a drawer to store small kitchen tools like spoons and forks. It slides in and out from under the counter. For example, you keep your knives and forks organized in a drawer. Drawers help Keeps small items neat. This is a shelf. We use a shelf to store and display items like jars or dishes. It's a flat surface attached to a wall or inside a cabinet. For example, you place spice jars on a kitchen shelf. Shelves help organize your kitchen space. This is a kitchen counter. We use a kitchen counter to prepare food before cooking. It's a flat surface usually made of stone or wood. For example, you chop vegetables on the kitchen counter. It's the main workspace in every kitchen. This is a kitchen island. We use a kitchen island for extra counter space and seating. It's a large table in the middle of the kitchen. For example, you eat a quick breakfast at the kitchen island. It's popular in modern, open kitchens. This is a cabinet. We use a cabinet to store dishes, food, and kitchen tools. It usually has doors that open and close. For example, you keep your pots and pans. Inside a cabinet, every kitchen has many cabinets for storage. This is a salt shaker. We use a salt shaker to add salt to your food easily. It has small holes on top that let a little salt come out. For example, you shake some salt onto your food at the table. It's a very common item on every table. This is a pepper mill. We use a pepper mill to grind whole pepper seeds fresh. You twist the top, and it crushes the pepper inside. For example, you grind fresh pepper onto your salad. Fresh pepper tastes stronger than pre-ground pepper. This is a sugar bowl. We use a sugar bowl to hold sugar for tea or coffee. It usually has a small spoon inside for scooping. For example, you add sugar from the sugar bowl into your coffee. It's a classic item for breakfast table. This is a butter dish. We use a butter dish to store and serve butter. It has a lid that keeps the butter fresh and clean for example. You spread butter from the butter dish onto your toast. It keeps butter soft and ready to use. This is a bread box. We use a bread box to keep bread fresh for longer. It's a small container that protects bread from air and moisture. For example, you store your fresh bread in a bread box. It helps prevent bread from going stale too fast. This is a cookie jar. We use a cookie jar to store and display cookies. It usually has a lid to keep the cookies fresh. For example, you keep homemade cookies in a cookie jar on the counter. It's a fun and classic kitchen item. This is a fruit bowl. We use a fruit bowl to hold fresh fruit on the counter. It's usually placed in a visible spot in the kitchen. For example, you keep apples and bananas in a fruit bowl. It reminds you to eat healthy snacks. This is a water pitcher. We use a water pitcher to hold and pour water for the table. It has a handle and a spout for easy pouring. For example, you fill glasses from a water pitcher during dinner. It's very useful for family meals. This is a coffee maker. We use a coffee maker to brew coffee quickly at home. You add water and coffee, and it makes fresh coffee automatically. For example, you make your morning coffee with a coffee maker. Many people can't start their day without one. This is a coffee grinder. We use a coffee grinder to grind coffee beans into powder. Fresh ground coffee has a stronger and better taste. For example, you grind coffee beans before brewing your morning coffee. Coffee lovers often use a grinder daily. This is a tea kettle. We use a tea kettle to boil water specifically for making tea. It usually whistles loudly when the water starts to boil. For example, you boil water in a tea kettle before making tea. It's a classic tool in many kitchens. This is a French press. We use a French press to make strong, rich coffee. You add coffee and hot water, then push the filter down slowly. For example, you make coffee in a French press for a relaxed morning. It's popular for a smooth, full flavor. This is a juicer. We use a juicer to squeeze fresh juice. From fruits like oranges, it separates the liquid from the seeds and pulp. For example, you make fresh orange juice with a juicer in the morning. Fresh juice is healthier than store-bought juice. This is a food processor. We use a food processor to chop, slice, or blend food quickly. It has sharp blades inside a large bowl, for example. You chop vegetables quickly using a food processor. It saves a lot of time in the kitchen. This is a rice cooker. We use a rice cooker to cook rice perfectly every time. You add rice and water, and it cooks automatically. For example, you cook dinner rice using a rice cooker every evening. It's simple and very reliable. This is a slow cooker. We use a slow cooker to cook food slowly over many hours. It keeps a low, steady heat all day long. For example, you cook a stew in a slow cooker while you're at work. The food becomes very tender and flavorful. This is an air fryer. We use an air fryer to cook crispy food with very little oil. It uses hot air instead of oil to cook food fast. For example, you make crispy fries in an air fryer without deep frying. It's a healthier way to cook fried food. This is a waffle maker. We use a waffle maker to cook waffles with a special pattern. You pour batter inside, and it cooks on both sides. For example, you make waffles for a special weekend breakfast. Everyone loves fresh, warm waffles. This is a sandwich press. We use a sandwich press to make hot, toasted sandwiches. It presses and heats the bread and filling together. For example, you make a grilled cheese sandwich with a sandwich press. It's quick and perfect for lunch. This is a baking sheet. We use a baking sheet to bake food like cookies in the oven. It's a flat metal tray with slightly raised edges. For example, you bake cookies on a baking sheet. It's essential for almost every type of baking. This is a muffin tin. We use a muffin tin to bake muffins or cupcakes. It has several small round holes for individual portions. For example, you pour batter into a muffin tin before baking. It gives each muffin the perfect shape. This is a cake pan. We use a cake pan to bake a cake in the oven. It's usually round, and the cake takes its shape. For example, you pour cake batter into a cake pan for a birthday cake. Every baker needs at least one good cake pan. This is a pie dish. We use a pie dish to bake pies with a crust. It's usually round with sloped sides for the pastry. For example, you bake an apple pie in a pie dish. It gives the pie its classic round shape. This is a casserole dish. We use a casserole dish to bake mixed dishes in the oven. It's usually deep and made of ceramic or glass. For example, you bake a vegetable casserole in a casserole dish. It's perfect for family dinner. This is a mixing bowl. We use a mixing bowl to combine ingredients before cooking or baking. It's usually large enough for stirring easily. For example, you mix flour, eggs, and sugar in a mixing bowl. Every kitchen needs a few different sizes. This is a salad spinner. We use a salad spinner to dry washed lettuce and vegetables. You spin the inner basket and water flies to the outside. For example, you dry lettuce leaves in a salad spinner after washing them. It keeps your salad crisp and fresh. This is a steamer we use. A steamer to cook vegetables gently with hot steam. It sits inside a pot above boiling water. For example, you steam broccoli in a steamer for a healthy side dish. Steaming keeps more vitamins in your food. This is a thermometer. We use a thermometer to check if food is fully cooked. You insert it into the food to read the temperature. For example, you check a chicken's temperature with a thermometer before serving. It helps you cook meat safely. This is an ice cube tray. We use an ice cube tray to make ice cubes at home. You fill it with water and place it in the freezer. For example, you use ice cubes from the tray to cool your drink. It's a simple item found in every freezer. This is a storage container. We use a storage container to keep leftover food fresh in the fridge. It usually has a tight lid to keep air out. For example, you store leftover pasta in a storage container. It helps reduce food waste at home. This is plastic wrap. We use plastic wrap to cover food and keep it fresh. It sticks closely to the surface of a bowl or plate. For example, you cover a bowl of salad with plastic wrap. It keeps food fresh in the fridge longer. This is aluminum foil. We use aluminum foil to wrap or cover food, especially before baking. It's a thin sheet of metal that holds in heat. For example, you wrap a potato in aluminum foil before baking it. It's very useful for cooking and storing food. This is a Ziploc bag. We use a Ziploc bag to store food safely and keep it fresh. It has a special seal that you can open and close easily. For example, you put sandwich pieces in a Ziploc bag for lunch. It's convenient for packing food to go. This is a lunchbox. We use a lunchbox to carry food from home to work or school. It's usually a small container with separate sections. For example, you pack your lunchbox in the morning before work. It's healthier and cheaper than buying lunch outside. This is a water bottle. We use a water bottle to carry drinking water with us. It's a reusable container that you can refill many times. For example, you fill your water bottle before going to the gym. Staying hydrated is very important every day. This is a wine glass. We use a wine glass to drink wine during a meal. It has a long stem so the wine stays cool in your hand. For example, you pour wine into a wine glass for dinner guests. It's often used for special occasions. This is a champagne flute. We use a champagne flute to drink champagne, or sparkling wine. Its tall, narrow shape keeps the bubbles longer. For example, you use a champagne flute to celebrate a special event. It's a symbol of celebration and joy. This is a teapot. We use a teapot to brew and serve tea for several people. It has a spout for pouring and a lid to keep the tea hot. For example, you make tea for guests using a teapot. It's a traditional and elegant kitchen item. This is a serving spoon. We use a serving spoon to serve food from a large dish. It's bigger than a regular spoon made for sharing food. For example, you serve rice for the whole family with a serving spoon. It's essential for family-style meals. These are chopsticks. We use chopsticks to eat food, especially in Asian cuisine. You hold them between your fingers and pick up small pieces of food. For example, you eat noodles or rice with chopsticks. Learning to use chopsticks takes a little practice. This is a napkin holder. We use a napkin holder to keep napkins neat and organized on the table. It holds a stack of napkins in one place. For example, you take a napkin from the napkin holder during dinner. It keeps your dining table tidy and organized. Great job, beginners! You just learned 100 kitchen objects. Subscribe for more easy lessons. See you soon!